Very nice to meet you. And I'm Agnia, business line manager of finance and supply chain management business line here at Companion. And so myself, I'm here in the company, going to be 11 years. So as you see, me and Paulus, we're working for a while together, pretty much building the practice. And actually, first of all, Paulo, thank you. Amazing presentation. I don't remember the last time I was so proud of my team. Only by listening to you. And now I will bring you a little bit more to a more simple business topic and kind of something more bluff and not that into much technological conversations. And it's even if we will be talking about finance and supply chain management experience that we have, because usually those projects are big and big projects have their own challenges. But I believe that exactly the same practices you will relate into big ISV products developments also in BC. So because we'll be referring into project management techniques, routines, and so on. So the topic we have today, so how to empower you to build and to move ISV solutions to AppSource. So first of all, about the question, why an ISV solution supposed to be on AppSource? Of course, you could find quite a number of explanations by Microsoft, but it's quite a big, of course, an interest of Microsoft just to show their customer base the potential extensions on their standard ERP systems like BC and finance supply chain management, and also what it brings to the partner. It brings possibility to reach more potential customers worldwide, right? Because if you are in France, so you can reach US, and even if you are, of course, doing implementation in US for your customer, of course, you probably will be interested in existing some process solutions, some ISV solutions that are very much relative to that market. That also could come also to some legal requirements, maybe tax payment, maybe something that, of course, you know that, for instance, US is way more different than Europe, sometimes even more different than we expect. Then another part is it helps us easily to connect with decision makers in the companies. Also, it extends sales channel and brings some other possibilities, because we know that our sales reps and people limited capacity. So having solutions somewhere online is really a good idea. And also Microsoft really brings some support and even sometimes finances it, especially if there is in their interest, and help them in some way also to promote and AppSource and their solutions and as added value. So Microsoft is really involved, even providing and support and fundings. So and of course, it unlocks Microsoft go-to-market services that could be very useful sometimes for our marketing people. This is the prerequisite. And if we would be talking about area of F&SCM, Microsoft really pushing that particular ERP as a very stable cloud-ready solution. And if there are any ISVs that are developed on BC and they are huge, they have a big list of the customer that are using that ISV, Microsoft really has an interest also to have exactly the same well-developed ISV also on finance and supply chain management, just to keep that good customer experience as exists on Business Central customers market. So some big ISVs also they are partners of the red carpet at Microsoft. They're keeping those conversations. Microsoft presents some fundings, and then suddenly BC ISV partner who's very successful in that area appears against, like, in front of an opportunity, right? Suddenly to move into the area of finance supply chain management. Also Microsoft gives some funding, so there is some funding, but the problem is that the partner has close to no knowledge about finance and supply chain management. And of course, this is a part of investment that partner has to do. So it's a business decision, business case that has to be sorted out. And actually, so we're getting a number of partners who are approaching us with the question to help them, first of all, to understand the market and to understand what would be the scope of the project, also to measure the investments, and of course, help them to build solutions for them, because of course, they don't have people ready in-house and they need finance supply chain management expertise and people who know how to do it. So what are the probably four best practices that we kind of landed into our expertise? So first of all, it's possible from BC to redesign and build solution on finance supply chain management. And it's not like even possible, but it's also not requires too much, let's say, at the beginning of the partner experience, because having possibility to have people who can read also BC code, understand from BC code what would be exact functionality. So the very initial stages, what we're asking for the partner, just to run some demonstration, like 2 hours demo of the solution, maybe give us some design or user manuals of the solution for BC, and to let us to read BC code. And actually then our architects are pretty much rebuilding their solution on F&SCM. So rebuilding means, first of all, creating the design, also explaining the partner what's possible, what's not, because process solutions in BC and F&O, at first glance, they might look very similar. At the second glance, they are rather different. So this conversation happens, but it's not requires like 100 hours of investigation. We kind of supporting partner in that journey. Then the second thing, when Microsoft gets involved in all of that and giving funding, they have pretty much strict timeline. And usually strict timeline is related to the Microsoft H1 or H2 or end of the year. So partners, just for them to be able to receive the funding, they don't have unlimited time, and that time frame has to be agreed between the parties. So suddenly it becomes we as companion, then the partner, then the Microsoft, and then we actually, this timeline becomes one of the most important components of the project framing. The next is there is a small piece of the project in time overall till when solution supposed to be carried over to the AppSource, and before carrying it to the AppSource, it has to be approved by Microsoft that is AppSource ready. And this part, even how insignificant an overall project timeline it looks like, it has to become a part of the project plan, because even it could be a week or 7 days of work, but it becomes very tight because it's really money related activities, and we have to receive that approval from Microsoft on time to be able to receive funding. So this is the partner pretty much case. And also the thing is when having the right team and the right amount of team and very close relationship with the partner, very close, it means daily. So there is no big enough solution that would become impossible to carry over and deliver it for the AppSource on time. So first of all, everything that I will be talking now, it really might sound as very simple kind of project development process, but the partner, when they come from other ERP, sometimes they're getting a little bit confused and they're saying, oh, give us the budget. Yes, we will. But before giving that budget, there is a stage where we have to do scoping. And so usually scoping is the very first interaction that we do. And of course, after scoping, partner may decide that they will not go for that investment. It could appear for them that is too expensive. And scoping, of course, ends with the functional design document, and functional design document would describe and solution itself, how it would look on finance and supply chain management, and also it will give us, as you see here in the slide, 60% precision, actually on estimated work that is already possible to start scoping and budgeting the solution. Just by kind of designing and getting senior architects together with the product owner, the partner in the scoping period, actually it's possible, and also knowing all the milestones and the full scope of the project is possible even 5,000 scope development project to scope with pretty much 5% precision. And we as Companion, we're happy pretty much to do such. At the end of the day, everyone was completely surprised because the project is run on time and material basis, and how we do that and how we managed actually to fit in the scope of development items in 5,000 hours development project. Actually, I will explain in the next slide. But first of all is design. And then actually the process that we are running through that development project. So first of all, yes, we receive an interest from the CBC partner or another partner. There could be some other external solution. Then we have this clarification call for something like about 2 hours. Then we assess how long it might take for us to write a design. Design could take pretty much from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, because it's still the outcome of everything is design document. And as soon as design document is ready, there is a presentation for the partner or what will have to be done, and the preliminary scope is provided for the development work. And after that, again, we have conversations, because at the end of development, it's supposed to be AppSource ready solution. So what does it mean? It means that solution has to be acceptable for the customer, right? It has to, till the beginning to the end, it has to solve some business issues. So then, of course, in the stage of scoping, we have discussion with the partner, should we leave all scope or should we maybe remove some scope and so on, because it's always at the end of the day, there's question of money that we have. And after aligning on the scope, we're writing the development contract, of course, but the contract is not a fixed price because it really depends on country by country, but it's time and material contract with dedicated team. Later I will show how we are working with that. So pretty much we dedicating amount of hours, we fixing timeline, because timeline has to be fixed because we have to be on AppSource on time, not to lose Microsoft funding. And the only thing that we are keeping open is scope. So that means product owner, the partner side, and we supposed to be ready continuously to have conversations. What items we will reduce from the scope if we are not on time to deliver, right? Yes, and then we onboard the team and start development. So now how we approach the development project. So we working on lean methodology, pretty much on that dedicated team. And first of all, what lean methodology says. So first of all, we have to have a dedicated and highly involved product owner, and product owner has to be on the partner side, where they really know what they want to achieve and what's supposed to be their kind of final product, and they are very much hands-on. So that means they know every single function, they know actually what they want out of this product. So then dedicated team. Dedicated team, usually it could be depending on the size of the projects. The biggest one that we had, it was 8 people technical architect and project manager. So it was pretty much 10 people team to deliver this 5,000 hours project in half a year. So it was very tight timeline. It was huge team, but it was fully and truly dedicated only for this one particular project and fully involved. Then, of course, we have stand-ups, we have daily progress, and daily progress is updated together with the partner. So that means that partner team is also heavily involved. So that means that all bottlenecks and anything is noticed very early because everybody are really on the same page and decisions are made here and now if something is not going based on the plan. And also very proactively, all issues, all escalations were done. So it's pretty much on daily basis, decisions were made. And as a last point, the steering committee of the project is actually also a critical component. Steering committee was meeting every 2 weeks, if I remember correctly, on that big project, because there are decision makers on companion side, there are decision makers on the partner side, and of course, everybody who are at the end of the day will be paying money. They're supposed to know how the project is progressing, and if any issues, if we are lacking capacity, or if we have to change the scope or something, steering committee members have the right to say actually how further to go with the project. And in addition to that, we also have to remember that the solution is supposed to be AppSource ready. And for that, there is a list of requirements that you see in front of you on the slide. And some requirements are technical, some requirements are non-technical. So those requirements have to be known before starting the project and also scoped in the overall project plan. So technical requirements, they usually are added already in overall development scope when planning development. And out of scope, so non-technical requirements, they become a headache pretty much of AppSource product team. So now why we're naming it product team? Because product team could be at the partner side, or product team could be joint team with companion people and partner people, because it really depends how hands-on partners are, or sometimes partner might not have enough resources. So, but all of those out of scope items here where you see non-technical items, they have to be named at the beginning of the project and added into overall project scope just to make sure that we will be on time to deliver. And while talking, I was mentioning quite a huge project that we did in US. So again, it was 5,000 hours development project delivered in 6 months. So something that we are really proud about, and this lean methodology really worked out. At the beginning, it sounded so straightforward and so simple, but then when suddenly we got 5 people from the partner side, product owner, the partner, and 10 people at our side, the communication became critical. So what are lessons learned? And we are dividing those lessons learned in 3 kind of bullet points. So there are technical, project management, and the budget related. So from the technical side, the main lessons were that all out of scope items that were agreed at the beginning, and usually this is a moving list of the items before we actually start development, it's supposed to be checked again just before project start, and only one list supposed to be kept in the DevOps, because we had an issue at the beginning where different developers were looking at different out of scope lists, and suddenly we got lost in translation that for technical architect, we needed some, let's say, alignment in some stage that was not really planned work. Then another one is every single issue and bug, because when partners start testing the solution, has to be registered on a separate item, because when we are approaching end of the project, everyone becomes very sensitive. And if we keep registering different issues on the same log, right, on the same issue, so then it might look that there is no progress in fixes, right? So just to manage the progress of how system is fixed and how ready to go. Actually, they're supposed to be listed in the separate items. And we have to keep in mind that usually a partner who has no F&SCM experience, they actually, at the beginning, partner has to become ready to accept the solution. So that means while we are developing, partner has to build the competence in-house. One person, maybe two people, who also we as companion help to train and onboard on finance supply chain management. But the person who will join testing process, because the consultants are at the partner side, they have to be literal in finance and supply chain management, and during while we're developing to join the team. Another thing why it's also good for the partner already to hire finance supply chain management, at least one person at the very beginning, because when we will be delivering, or when we are delivering the solution for testing, we would like to do some initial testing already in-house, but for that, the test cases are necessary. And those test cases are supposed to be provided by the partner organization, by the partner consultants. So alignment on their testing, on the process, how the testing will go, on the test cases, how many of them we have, and thus partner has a person who will be able to support technical team at the moment of testing, when testing will start. Actually, there are critical questions that's supposed to be sorted out at the beginning of the project during onboarding stage. So then from the project management, it becomes very important, or equally important, when project manager report the status to the partner, that not only technical areas are covered, but also non-development tasks. And non-development tasks is vacations, sicknesses, power apps, AppSource, AppSource ready, anything that it actually also forms the environment of the project. So everything's supposed to be communicated and understood the same for everybody. And I already mentioned the functional testing supposed to be started earlier in the process, and more time supposed to be given, because I think in our this particular project I'm talking about, the consultant joined a little bit too late. He was not really ready. And then, of course, the last 2 weeks was very stressful, because we not only were fixing the bugs, but we were also training the consultant. However, we were on time, but there was already some kind of discomfort for the past 2 weeks. Maybe it's not a surprise because we're used to that, but still it could be managed. And on the budget side, it is very important that things like stand-ups, that project management time would be also included. And if we are talking projects more, let's say, than 1,500 hours, it's never going to be less of the project management or stand-ups time than 15% of overall kind of project budget. So this is all that I wanted to share with you today.